So I'm back again with another painting video, and I'm still testing out this Army Painter speed paints. I tried to film a time lapse of me doing them with these. I think they're called gaunts, Tryanid gaunts, the guys with the guns. And overall, it took me just under an hour and a half to do them all up. There is a bit more detail I am going to do. That is, like, add some green paint at some point, but yeah. So basically, I'm just going to show off the process I've been doing with my Tryanid, because there's a whole batch of them, and I believe this is the last. Yeah, the last one I got to do up. And just to try and show the color matching I've been doing with this big Tryanid Hive Tyrant. There's the word I'm looking for, Hive Tyrant. So to start with, I'm using like the dark wood for the skin, Runic Gray for the carapaces. This I'll be using 2 coats for to get that nice similar matching coat. Pallid bone for their teeth and hooves and bony blade bits. And for their tongues, I'm using Hive Dweller Purple. And I do have these in a set order. And there we go. So, basically, I'm going to try my best, because these are ones with a little more detail with their spiny bits on them, to go and just get all the, I guess, the bony bits I want brown. And in case anyone's wondering, I did kind of have an idea from playing StarCraft with what were they called again? The Zerg. And I always remember in StarCraft, they always had like this like brownish like skin. So I'm looking at all these Tryanid models, and once other people do it, I'm like, they're always these bright, vibrant colors. I want to see them that's dark and muted, and this is what I came up with. So without further ado, give this a good shake. Get my paint palette here. I don't know, I'll stick it over here on the side. And put down some paint. Speed paint. Getting a fair bit of this. We'll do like 5 drops. And I'm going to go clean up. Oh my. I forgot to get water. I'll be right back. Alright, I am back with my water. I keep forgetting to get water. I don't need 2 paint pots, but I like to keep one with fresh water for cleaning the brushes when I have to leave for work and other stuff like that. So, and this new stand, as good as it is, I use my paint pots. Well, we'll just stick one there, stick one there. That should, or maybe right there. Yeah, that'll work. And piece of paper towel, like so. Stick it down, keep that corner held down. Ooh, yeah, I still got a bit of paint pigment still left in the brush. That's alright. Okay. Oh no, wait. That's just off from this. Just gonna clean this up. I don't know why it's got this bit of excess running dew off of it there. It just does. So yeah, just gonna go along here. Get all of this bits. There's even little details in here. I just go right over it too, because I'm gonna go back afterwards and pick it out with another color. And speaking of color, I did order some Army Painter paints. I can't get them to ship to Canada yet. I don't know why. Something they're still working on, I guess. However, I can get stuff off of Amazon, but it's coming from Funwoo Toys. And last I checked, there's no real store except for a Funwoo, what do you call it? Their furniture store. And I'm like, okay. So must be something over in Asia. And those paints, it being what, October 8th today? Yeah, just got shipped out today, and I placed the order back on the 29th. The 29th. It's going to be a while till they get here. A big while. Okay, now how am I gonna get here? I guess I'll go like this. Yep. Anywho, I'm gonna get this guy and the other 7-Up done, and I'll be right back. Now with the first coat of paint out of the way, it's time to do the second coat. And that's going to be the carapaces, or shelling bit on their back. Last time I did it on these guys here, the ones with the guns, I used my giant brush. But I think I'm going to change it up and go with my Citadel standard brush this time around. Because when I did my second coat, I went with the Citadel brush and had a little more control, a little more refined control. So I'm going to try and do that here. But at the same time, I had one of these had some, had a bit of over paint on them somewhere. I forget which one it was. Here it is. And it dried up. So I have some old Citadel white. I do have the new White Scar version. But I was able to rescue this pot, and let's just apply a little bit, get it used. I still got to mush it down some more, make it to more of a liquid state. It's going to be a bit with that. Looks like all my other ones. So let's just clean up the tip here. Don't need that much. Well, it's back to doing the second coat. I thought a good heavy coat would make a difference. It did, but not the same results I need to match up the last 8. So I'm just going to go again, do a second coat. And just for the record, I did let the first coat dry for an hour. I find that if you give it a good hour to dry, you can put another layer of speed paint on, no problem. Although I do see now I missed a spot with the dark wood, and, well, I guess I have to touch it up on this guy as well. Such is life with Tyrannids. There's just so many little zany details and spots and nooks and crannies you forget to go back and do. Anywho, I will be done second coat here very shortly, as it's not as tightly controlled as doing the limbs. Well, it's been a few minutes and already I am liking the shading. It's coming in nice. It's still got time to dry, but I'm going to move on and do the next step, and that's all the hoofs, hooks, and teeth with pallid bone. I think I used pallid bone. Soon find out here in a moment. And again, just using my standard Citadel brush. I am going to change my pot water around here, though. I don't need a whole lot of this paint, because we're just doing little bits. So yeah, all this hoofs, hooks. Pretty sure there's some fleshy-like bits right in here I didn't get with brown, but that's okay. Sand Golem will cover all. After all, in the back of my head, they're just cannon fodder troops. They're going to get handled a lot, clumped up together a lot, clinking together a lot. You guys get the idea. There. That's 1 down, 7 more to go. And I'll be right back. Just got to be careful to just not get any fresh paint on my fingers. It is now the following afternoon. Yes, I was a bad boy and stayed to stay up till like almost 6 in the morning. Why? Because I'm a broken human. Yeah, these guys got a good time to dry, and they are looking rather sharp. I like the fact that I went a little heavier on the second coat with their carapace, because it did add a lot more depth to it. And some kind of like uniformic look. Not too uniform, but you know. Kind of like almost bug-like a little bit, because it's like there's some spots where it pulled heavier here and there, but still leaving the edges nice and crisp. I like that. That is cool. So now I'm going to move on to doing the tongues, and I'm trying to remember if I used Hive Dweller Purple or if I used Purple Alchemy. And this guy doesn't have a tongue, so we don't need him. And now with him on the base, oh dear, we got some sand or some debris there from something else. Yeah, so with that done, I'm going to pull out my Citadel Technical, where is it? Sorry, not technical, texture. Gonna be using some Armageddon dust. Yeah, these texture paints, they're amazing. But the batch I ordered came on a truck that were frozen one winter, so some of it's dried out pretty quick. But if I can, oh, maybe there's not enough left now. No, there is. Oh, maybe. Maybe, we'll see. So there's a bunch for that guy. Let's transfer some of that to this one. And I don't know if we got any more left. No, I think that's pretty much it of that pot. That's one for the actual garbage bin now. So I'm going to grab my sand, some PVA glue, and do it the old-fashioned way, and I will be right back. So you're not watching me and doing commentary on what I'm doing the whole time. And well, I think it's been long enough now. Yeah, it's forming, curing up pretty good enough that I can get some paint on there. So I've been looking through my paints to try and find something that kind of matches that Citadel texture paint. What's it called? Armageddon dust or something there. Anywho, yeah, so went through my dollar store bin of paints because, you know, why not? They're good for what they do. And I figured this color tan might just do the job. Or close to. Because by the time this all dries, I'm going to go back with some Devlin mud over top all the bases with the, you know, the paint and sand, just to get a nice good mix going. And I dropped something on the floor, and I don't know what it was, and it might have been that little bit of dry glue from the bottle. So anywho, let's get this going, and I need a paper towel, my water, palette, and I'm going to use my monster brush for this because I want to get it done quick, but at the same time still being neat. So we'll give this a good shaking. So I don't really have anything more sandy, but so I'll have to mix up some colors here. I'm going to put some burnt umber, just a little bit into this, just to see if I can just get some of that fleshy tone color detuned. I know I'm going back over with Devlin mud, but I don't want, like I said, I want it to look like it's a fleshy planet kind of thing. So just add a little bit of this, just a little bit, if I can get a little bit. And remove that piece of gunk. Still looking a little fleshy on the bases here. It could be because of the glue and the white undercoating. Not too sure. But yeah, I'm just gonna work with it. Just get them in there. So I'm gonna, like I said, use that wash afterwards, and we'll just see what happens, I guess. My goodness. Well, I've given these paint jobs on the bases a decent amount of time to dry. The dollar store paints do tend to take a lot longer to dry than most other craft paints you can get out there, but you know, that's just how it is. And just a little close-up comparison of the one I did with just the tan paint and the one I did with tan mixed with a bit of brown. And I'm almost wondering if I should have just kept tan. But the one on my left hand does look a little better than the pure tan one. But we'll see how the washes go, because now I'm thinking this might be too dark, and this might be what I was looking for. Sadly, I almost wonder if I should add a little bit of yellow to the mix. Anywho, let's get cracking. Going to add my Devlin Mud Wash, which I have here. And yeah, when I get them all done up, we'll come right back and see how it all looks after it's got a good dry time. Now, you're all probably wondering, but Ross, you're supposed to be doing these fast and quick. It's like, I know. But when you're going back to old school sand and PVA glue, you kind of going to have to give it some drying time. So it doesn't take long to do. So essentially, I still have these done in about an hour and a half from like start to finish, from priming to where I am now. It's just that downtime in between, we don't count it, right? Right? I hope. Anywho, I will, yes, again, see you back here in the next little segment very shortly. Well, everybody, I am just about done wrapping up with the paint job here on these guys. I checked my times, and like it was still literally roughly an hour and a half to do up 8 of these Tyrannids. Even though I had that small setback with them having to do sand and glue on the bases. Usually you do that step before you prime your models, but this is okay. It's not the end of the world. I know some people do it at the end when it's done painting up anyway. But no, this was a great experience. I love the fact that we now have like these paint choices of paint mix that's like 3 steps in one, especially when it comes to these what I call the horde armies, like orcs and the Tyranids. They're basically strength in numbers, so you have a lot of cannon fodder on the board, and when that cannon fodder starts to deplete, you're just grabbing them by the bushels or whatever and putting them aside, but at the same time, it looks cool. However, painting up tons of those models does take quite a bit of time, but thanks to contrast and speed paints being like all these other paint steps in one, you do get some really nice results. And you can mix them to get different colors. Like I just basically used the 4 basic colors. I didn't do any mixing with them. And I got this result. It's fantastic. And as things are drying, here's one of the ones from the texture paint with the Devil in Mud. They definitely look close. They definitely do look close. But I think next time I am going to have to add a bit of yellow. Just a little bit to give that more sandy look that I'm looking for. Now, before I say thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, I do have one more step I'm going to add to these guys, and that's to use a basic color of acrylic. And not just on these 8, but these guys as well, just to get them finished up. I mean, as they are, I could just play them right now, but in the back of my mind, it's like, it's the Hive Tyrant I've painted up, right? I made so their internal organs like this, like goblin green color, so it kind of looks like they have like a glowy poison green. I'm going to be doing that with these guys here, but it's just to their eyeballs and little exposed bits. And for that, I'm going to be using my detail brush. However, before I go in and actually do that, I need to let those bases dry. So, yeah, bear with me. Just bear with me. So I'm going to give that 30 minutes because it is dollar store acrylics before I mount it up on my handle and get started. So it's been about an hour and some. I think they're dried enough for me to not completely destroy the bases. The other 8 I'm not too worried about because they've been dried for a couple of days. But these ones here, definitely. Now, earlier today, my Amazon order came in, and here it is. Can't get it all on camera, but I will show off video of this later, and some mixing balls. So I just need to grab what's called Jungle Green. I think that's going to relate to my Goblin Green. Holy smokes, look at all this stuff. So there, I'm going to trip on it. So let's take a look here. Jungle Green. That looks close to Goblin Green. It's actually a little brighter, I think. Let's see what greens I got with this set. Maybe be close to more of a... There's a Army Painter Goblin Green. I'm not too sure. Because there's Jungle Green, a little too bright. And then there's Goblin Green. I'll move those both out. And, yeah. See what happens. So, let's get some mixing balls here. Goblin Green, Jungle jungle green. Alright, got my mixing balls in. Wow, these are heavy. Let's just stick them right there out of harm's way. Perfect. Whew. Good stuff when it gets drier in here. Okay, let's give these a good rattle. Now, Army Painter's instructions say to empty the first bit out of the top, then shake well, and then test again and make sure that any stuff on the top is out because it's supposed to be bad. But with mixing balls, you don't have to worry about that because it's all going to mix them together. Oh my goodness. Wow, this jungle green is actually quite thick. Oh my, yeah, no. I think these two have been sitting on the shelf a while. I'll have to definitely give them a good mix in here. Okay. So even with mixing balls, which do help, it still leaves something to be desired. But new experiences, right? Does add a little character though, and a little bit of a afterglow. So jungle green is obviously not going to be my go-to color for these. It's going to have to be the goblin green. Even though this goblin green is a slight, it's almost 1-to-1. I mean, if this wasn't dried out, it was just a hair brighter. Still good enough because that one's dried out. I don't want to try and save it at some point. But this will probably be the color I dry brush on my Marines. Yes, my Celtic Warriors. That reminds me. Could do a test on that at some point. So, I'm going to say thanks for watching. And at the end here, I'm going to have a little panoramic photo, I guess, of all these guys together. Okay, who's next? Who's next? This one, I believe. Let's get these in order. You are done. You sit there. You're not. Not. Perfect.